Welcome to another exciting episode of Culture Conversations. My name is Chizobam Ofebo. Today we have an amazing topic to, just discuss, and we have an even more amazing person to shed light on this topic. We're discussing mental health, the well-being of the next generation creatives in Nigeria. We know that creatives have it even tougher when it comes to mental health. And it's not because they're weak-minded. It's because what they have to do has to do with them delving into a lot of darkness to provide the light that we have, that they give us by way of the music, the art, the dance. And so their well-being is very, very, very important to consider, especially for this new generation, younger generation. And to shed a lot of light on that is we have Amanda Iheme, the founder of Indidi, a private mental health practice operational out of Nigeria. She's also an architecture photographer who has shown her works in photographs at MoMA in New York, has hosted the photographer's studio visit at the GAC Foundation, and has also been featured in global media publications like Marie Claire, the New York Times, Foam Magazine, World of Interior, and more. And we have the huge privilege of having her as a guest today. And you just completed a residency, right?
Yes, at the
Can we talk
Foundation.
about that?
Of course we can. We can definitely talk about that.
So, were you always a creative, or you
got into it? Regarding photography, I didn't actually define myself as a creative always.
Wow.
I just saw myself as a photographer. But I think after making a decision to fully take it on as a professional career, like in 2017, that was like, yes, okay, I'm an artist now because this is what I do. I give my time, my energy, I'm committed to it, and I'm focused on expanding the reach of my work as well, and also the depth of it. So I'd say like from 2017 was when I like fully became like a professional creative.
I'm an artist now?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I know that you handle a lot of cases, due to your mental health facility, which is what you're really known for prior to the art. But and you've dealt with a lot of heavy cases, I'm sure.
Yes.
People always wonder why do creatives have it tougher mentally?
Would I say creatives have it tougher? I think that there's an impression of the struggling artist and the dark artist. Like you have to go when you talk about creating your work, you talk about creating from a place of pain, some emotional experience you've had, maybe someone you lost someone or heartbreak, and we're more familiar with that trope for artists, but not all artists create from darkness, not all artists create from that sadness, and we're not all struggling. We're not all struggling artists. I know I'm not a struggling artist, so we're not all struggling artists, but we do have it tough because, and especially in the society that we're in, Nigeria is not a place that truly gives artists the respect and value that they deserve in how we shape the society in terms of language, art, dance, music, how we even relate with or find words to describe emotions that we are unable to express. So we're able to show those things in paintings and different works that we tackle, even just documenting stories of people that you would normally not hear of without through writing or photography or through music or film. We're not really giving that much credit or attention like we deserve, and because of that that comes with its own unique challenges, because you now have to find your value within yourself and find your value in your society and believe that your voice and the work you do is worthy, because it's very easy for people to say, what are you doing?
Yes.
Why are you doing this? Like, does it even matter? Why are you not a doctor? Something that's a bit more functional. But we don't see the importance of artists here because we are constantly trying to survive. And I think that when you're looking for basic amenities, you're trying to eat, you're trying to sleep, you're trying to find a way to like clothe yourself, a job, just to be alive, it can take away the part of you that really benefits from aesthetic engagement with your world, like looking at things that are beautiful, looking at things that are pleasant, things that are inspired by intuition, that also feed your understanding of existence and even allow you that space to process your emotions and your thoughts and your feelings and words like that. So when you're looking for food, you wouldn't have time to be singing heartbreak songs. So because of that, the environment that we're in does not allow a lot of engagement with artists, but that does not mean that it doesn't exist at all. So we still have people who are very interested in the arts and are still very interested in working with artists and appreciating the work they do and engaging in critical discussion about the work as well.
Yeah, so I mean, not all artists are, my takeaway, one of my takeaways is not all artists are struggling.
No, we're not.
And
all
not
struggling.
every artist is
Is
creating from dark place.
Yes,
there's happy art out there.
Yes,
Yeah, there's happy art out there. So, what would you say are the 1 or 2 areas that the young generation of creatives in Nigeria are struggling with? What that the two spaces or 2 places that are affecting their mental health or their well-being?
I'd say 2 major things: a lack of structure for the art space, like poor art education.
Oh, yeah,
it's
true
not very good.
Yeah.
Our education is more Western European than African. But not a lot of education when it comes to understanding our own historical work and how to draw inspiration from that. And even the way we are taught, generally, the education system here is not very good. So imagine, being an artist and trying to go to school for art education. It's not the best quality that you're getting. So a lot of artists, like education, as soon as you leave university, that continued education does not really continue because we don't have a lot of spaces that invest into the consistent education of artists. It doesn't mean there are none that exist, but the number of artists and number of spaces we have is just not working. We don't have funds to be able to help with, the creation of your work because some of us do very big work. Like one of the projects I'm working on now is trying to redefine or trying to propose a new way of building residential buildings in southwestern Nigeria. So instead of using concrete, what other kind of materials can we use? It's research heavy, and at some point I'm going to have to build, but then you have to think about where you're going to get the funds from because I can't personally generate the amount of funds I'd need for that. So the education system, the industry, the structure to allow for artists to start their career and grow their career, diversify even within the same industry, try different things. Even if you're an artist that works with either clay or you work with materials that require you to weld stuff, there's not a lot of industry for that to either teach you or to even provide you with the materials to do your work. So that structure, that organization, that from education to work is very difficult. Then the financial part of it, not getting paid well for your work. Even as a photographer, like people come and say, come and take my picture and they want to pay you like 50k. I mean, think about it, because your camera costs like 2 million naira. Your lens will cost like 1.5 million naira. If that thing breaks, getting it back is very expensive. So you work with expensive gear, you invest in expensive gear,
and they want the quality.
Yes, you want the quality, and then you don't want to pay for the work. So it's not, so being an artist, sometimes it feels like what you're doing is luxury to people, but it's a necessity that we need anyway. So we're not being well compensated for the work that we do. When you don't have enough money to do your work, you can't really do the best work you can do. And when you don't have an industry that supports you, that can help your career grow, can help you chart a path for yourself, even if you don't have to be an international artist to survive, but here in Nigeria, that's what you need, because the Nigerian art industry does not have enough to be able to support you on your own as an artist. So the poor industry, and then also
the poor education, the poor financing. There's just no space for creatives to lift off from.
Yes, to lift off from. So, and even those of us that are able to lift off, there's only so many that we can carry with us. And then even when we lift off and then we leave the country. And then you go and thrive as a Nigerian artist living abroad. So then what does that then say for the younger artists?
Telling stories of the space you're in, and not even of the space you're coming from.
Exactly. And even when you're trying to tell stories of, the place you're coming from, you cannot remove the fact that you are telling it from a different point of view. It would be different compared to a Nigerian who is here. So it's not a lot of room that allows for Nigerian artists to really, really grow.
It's almost like as if we don't want our heritage to be preserved.
Yes, I mean, wasn't it like last 2 weeks in Calabar, they tore down, there was this structure that was in, I can't really remember, but it's like this traditional structure they had that was like an ode to their religion, and they tore it down and put a statue of Jesus Christ. And I was like, there is no problem with having a statue of Jesus Christ, but why do you have to tear down your own heritage to replace it with the heritage of another person's culture and religion? The both of them can exist side by side. So it's like you're destroying your things that could have fed into your tourism, could feed into your art, could feed into your history. and you're now replacing it with something else because you see your own historical work as demonic, as evil, and then you put something else.
That's the problem I have with, I always just tell I tell Africans, I mean Nigerians mostly, because I think some Africans are more liberal. I'm like, if Jay Shetty invited you on his program, you'd publicize it on your page. Jay Shetty is Buddhist.
Yes.
If Deepak Chopra called you, if these are people who are not Christians, you'd publicize it.
Yes.
So I see that your problem is not with the religion, it's not with the, it's just that we have a deep identity crisis.
Yes,
that's
we do.
The problem.
We do, and to be honest, it's something that really goes way back to our colonial history, that as Nigerians, we haven't really sat down together as a people to address it. And the government, they're the ones that are meant to champion this, but they're not interested in that. They're more interested in, let's keep the people struggling and impoverished so that we can continue to make money off of them. So
trauma is a good market.
Yeah, it's a good market. If we can make they're making money off of our suffering.
Yes.
So if they're only focused on the money, what time do they have to be thinking about, okay, how did the slave trade and how did the colonial era affect our well-being and our psyche as Nigerians? Because, I mean, what could have been like an exchange of information between the colonialists and Nigerians turned out to be like a cultural invasion, where what they did was they came here, told you that everything that you know, everything that's defined your people for so many years is absolute rubbish and it's demonic and it's terrible. But then they took your work, those things that they were telling you about, they took it
profit.
And they profit off it. They put it in their museums, they make money off of it, but then they put it in your mind that it's rubbish, don't trust it, it's terrible, but then they take it from you. And then you, even them not being there, you now continue that narrative where, oh, it's rubbish, our own things, our identity is bad. We must look at the way the foreigners are doing it and the way
it's very painful when I see it happen. And I'm like, do we even start the re-education? But I see some people who have started the re-education.
Yes.
And I feel like, you have to have a certain grace to do it, because I don't have that grace. I don't have it. But people like Tayo Bello for Washiri and all those ones have the grace. You see a lot of people saying, oh wow, people who are stalled Christians coming in the comment section. I'm like, okay, he has the grace. And that's why I made sure I had him as a guest. You are in a residency. Or is he in a residency or on a residency?
In a residency, yes.
And this is one of the things that this was made available for a lot of creatives and artists, just for that lift off.
Yes.
So is this your first residency?
It's my first residency.
What is it about?
Okay, so everyone, when I tell them I was in a residency, they're like, what does a residency mean? So a residency is like a program that is usually offered by foundations, art foundations to artists, where they provide you with different offerings. It could be like a stipend, a workshop, mostly a space to live. So they'll take care of your accommodation, they'll provide you with a stipend, and they tell you, come here, do your work. Nice. That's all it is. Just come here and do your work, research, focus on your art. Either you create something at the end or you don't. So different residencies have different terms. So the residency that I completed is in Lekki. It's by Yinka Shonibare. So it's a foundation called the Guest Foundation, Guest Artist Space. And what they do is they provide spaces for Nigerian artists and African artists, both in Nigeria and the diaspora, and also international artists to come into Nigeria to do research and to live in the environment and gain information, work with the people to inform the work. Yeah, it's such a good work.
Especially in a place like Nigeria.
Exactly. And during this time, I had the opportunity of meeting an artist from the UK, an artist from Uganda, an artist from America, another one from Finland. So it's like a chance for you to collaborate with different people, different artists from different parts of the world. So you spend your time there. They have a fellowship. They do an open call. You apply. If your work fits into what they need, they invite you over. You stay there for a stipulated amount of time. And during that time, what you do is you focus on your work. So for me, the focus of my work was research. I know that I'm a photographer, but I'm an artist, and part of my artistic practice is research. So that was what I spent my time doing at the residency.
Well, what level of breath of fresh air was that for you?
Amazing. I think the one thing that was very validating about it was that it was a residency in Nigeria that was created by Nigerian, and it is run by Nigerians. So it was like, it's like one thing if people from outside your house are telling you congratulations because you passed WAEC, but when your father tells you or your mother tells you congratulations, it's very different. So of course, getting international residency is amazing, very validating for your work, but there was just something about just knowing that I was like my own people see the value of the
Yes.
work I'm doing,
Yes.
and they've decided to support me to create a space for me to continuously do this. So it was really such an amazing experience. And the Gas Foundation, I just wish every Nigerian artist, as young, old, they just need to have the time to have a residency in that space. And I think more residencies need to come up. There is another one in Ibadan, Kubomoje residency as well. So there are like little pockets of spaces where you can have residencies that are coming up now, and they are all artist led. So artists who have been able to create some affluence for themselves, that have the resources and the network, are now coming here to create space for other Nigerian and African artists to thrive as well.
Powerful. So, and how long is the resident?
Okay, so my residency was 2 months.
Nice.
Yes, it was for 2 months. So for 2 months, I was living in Lekki at the residential space and working.
Feeding and everything on them.
Yes. Oh no, the feeding was on me, but you get a per diem. Yeah. So they'll give you like, okay, you're staying here, we'll give you a per diem.
Nice.
Take this every week, have this amount of money, take care of yourself, feed yourself, do what you need to do, use it to support your research. Whatever materials you need to buy, you have a stipend for that as well. Use that to do your research on your work. If you want to travel, we'll find ways to support you with that. So they're very, very supportive. Like, it's like peace of mind. You don't have to worry about anything.
Even me myself,
I get
trying to consider if I'm an artist. Do you understand? Because I need that peace of mind.
Yeah, it was just an amazing peace of mind.
Wow, thank you so much, Gas Foundation. Thank you so much, Kashunibar.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
And to all the international Nigerian artists that constantly invest here, we're so grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mental health is a big issue when it comes to, you've corrected us, it's not just for creatives, but especially those who are on the move, the musicians, especially.
Yes.
We've had a lot of issues.
Yes.
Not just in Nigeria, but also abroad. And they just take their lives,
Yes.
And we're seeing some of them currently suffering, and we know they're suffering, and we're like, what's the provision for therapy for them whilst they're on the road? Is there something that your foundation does with regards to that? Is there something you're planning to do with your foundation in regards to that?
Yeah.
Is it something that their own team has to take control of or something?
Yes. I think the level of your work and the team you work with will also impact the access you have to mental health care. So for artists that are like well established, this is like Aya Star or Davido, it would be like a personal and a team effort. So they have to find a professional and provide that access. And I think it should be the same way you would have food in the morning and you go to see a doctor, they should have a therapist, someone to talk to, because when you are in the limelight and you have so many people giving you feedback on the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you move, even people can see a 10-second video on social media and then judge your entire character based on that, or the way you just looked at someone and like, oh my god, you don't like this person, and you constantly get that influx of information, and just ridiculous expectations that people have across cultures, especially when you're internationally famous. It's a lot on a person to deal with. And when you're not just dealing with the music, you're also dealing with yourself as a brand. So you don't really have a lot of spaces where you can fully and truly be yourself and have your own thoughts and ideas heard. You're still a business. As much as you're a brand, you're a business. So there are people who are relying on you. So you can't just do whatever you like. But you're still a human being. And that humanity in you has to be protected and preserved, and have that space for it to flourish, so that you can understand yourself, and that can then feed into the work you're creating. So for international and very successful, financially successful artists of that nature, it is both their personal responsibility and that of their team as well. But for artists who are not at that level yet, what we do is like, okay, it's now your responsibility, like to look after yourself and to create that access for yourself and resources, make that available for yourself. So what we do at the practice, because we know that financial success is not something that majority of the artists have. Not everyone is a Davido, not everyone is a Wizkid, not everyone can afford like to pay for therapy, because
standard therapy.
It is quite pricey. I'm going to admit that. So what we've done is we have created a mental health package.
I saw that on your page,
specifically for artists. It's called Nka, which is an Igbo word for artists. So it's specifically for professional artists.
Nice.
You come in, you get subsidized rather than paying the full price. You get to get a subsidized amount of money for therapy. And sometimes we have people who are eager to fund other people's therapy, so they come in and like, okay, we want to pay for so we want to pay for people's therapy. How can we do that? So because we had that available, we're also for a while offering like free therapy for them. So, you know, tell us you want to go there, we can get you a chance to have your therapy sessions paid for so that you can just get therapy. So, but then when the economy got tighter, people's generosity also got tighter. And we understand, no qualms. So, but then we still have that discounted service available for artists, professional artists to come in.
Nice.
So with that, we're hoping like we can then have more artist-focused mental health care services, but for now that's one thing that we offer at NDD.
Okay, so thank you so much, Amanda, for being here with us. I know you just came back from the residency, you've not had time to rest.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here on short notice.
It's okay.
Thank you for the wealth of wisdom you've come with. And thank you for your genuine care for humanity.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is the end of our very interesting conversation. We'll join John and Helen in the studio now. Stay tuned.